We are not live.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carlin O'Hanley, and I'm the chair of the Point Pleasant Park Advisory Committee. I will call the meeting to order at 4:34 p.m., and I will start our meeting off today with a land acknowledgement. The Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. As standard for virtual meetings, we will begin with a roll call to make sure that all members' AV is working. I'm here, Carlin O'Hanley. Ted Doan, Vice Chair.
I'm here.
Ryan Frizzle.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Muyu Jia.
Hi, everyone. I'm here.
Hi. Dominique Johns.
Hello.
Hi. Karen Zishiri.
I'm here. If you can hear me.
Hello. Yes. And Councillor Wade Mason.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We will now move on to our agenda for today's meeting. Second is approval of minutes from May 2nd, 2024. I will now ask for any edits to the minutes of March 7th, 2024. Should that say May 2nd, 2024, clerk?
Yes, it's me.
Yeah, May 7th, 2024. If there are none, I would like to invite a member to move the approval of these minutes. So we require a mover and a seconder.
I'll move it.
Thank you. So I believe that was Dominique moves. Do we have a seconder for the approval of the minutes from May 2nd, 2024?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ted. So Dominique moves and Ted is the seconder for the approval of the minutes from May 2nd, 2024. Okay. So the motion has been moved and then we have some. So I will now call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye or raise their hands. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, the motion has been passed. It is carried. And so the approval of the minutes from May 2nd, 2024 has been approved. Thank you. We will now move to the number 3, approval of the order of business and approval of additions and deletions. So to our legislative assistant, are there any changes to today's agenda, please?
Okay, for now, no changes, but we have a particular items that we would love to be deferred.
Correct. I received your correspondence on that deferral. So would that require that we present a motion?
At this particular stage, we can just move it for it to be deferred to next meeting.
Thank you. Okay, so there are no additions or deletions. The committee, we can proceed with the following motion. I will invite a member of the committee to move the following motion, that the agenda, that the agenda be approved as presented. So we require a mover and a seconder.
Sorry, Chair, the agenda needs to be amended to reflect the item that we need to defer.
Oh, I said motion, but it was amended. Okay, can we please have someone move so that we can amend the motion? Is that correct?
Yes.
Technically,
we should put the motion on the floor, then amend the motion, but I think it's okay to shortcut it as I will move that I put the amended motion for the agenda on the floor, if the clerk agrees, and we can just get on with it.
Thank you. I got lost in the verbiage there, so I appreciate that.
So
Do we have
moved.
a seconder? Thank you. Thank you, Ted. And thank you, Councillor Way Mason. So the motion has been moved by Councillor Mason and seconded by Ted. And I will now call for the question. All those in favor say aye or raise your hands. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, the motion has been carried. Okay, moving on to number 4. Business arising out of the minutes. There are none for today. 5, call for declaration of conflict of interests. So on this, I will now ask if anyone has a conflict of interest to declare as a result of any item on our agenda today. Okay, there are no declarations of interest. The meeting can proceed as scheduled. 6, consideration of deferred business. There is none. 7, correspondence, petitions, and delegations. 7.1, to our clerk, is there any correspondence that has been received?
No correspondence received from the clerk's office.
Thank you. 7.2, petitions. To our clerk, are there any petitions to be presented today?
No petitions received from the clerk's office.
All right. We're running very smoothly today. 7.3, presentations. And we've had a few over the season, but there are none today. 8, information items brought forward. There are none. 9, reports and discussions. 9.1, staff. There are none under that heading. However, if we go down to 9.1.1, operations update, I'd like to ask Adam Cornick, Superintendent, Parks West, to speak to us, the Point Pleasant Park, about the operations memo that was circulated to members. Adam?
Hi, everybody. I apologize in advance that I got to take off after this. I just had a call before this about another park that I got to go deal with. But I'll do my best to go through Ian's update here, and may not be able to go into as much detail as he usually does, but I'll do my best. So we're going to be focusing on some removal of aging and hazardous and invasive trees on behalf of staff. It continues into the summer season. We're continuing to identify some invasive species such as the Rosa multiflora and the Japanese knotweed patches, and planning on for removal projects over the coming months and into the fall season. We're going to be continuing with some trail cutbacks that's taking place throughout the park, as well as the crown rising in the lower canopy areas. Increase with the focus of road maintenance to remediate the wear from the plowing season during the winter operations. We're also going to be resurfacing some trails and roads throughout Point Pleasant Park, patching persistent washouts and adjusting grade for drainage. This maintenance is essential to combat the possibility of a rainy season like we had last year in the 2023 floods. Major parks, we also rented a loader to tackle some of the services. So we're going to be completing some road work in Serpent, Cambridge, Heather, Tower Hill, and Arm Road. And we're going to be working on some major culverts in Sailors Memorial and Arm Road. And we're going to be doing some drainage and other maintenance activities. So all this stuff kind of ties in within the comprehensive plan. So we're adhering to that throughout this process. So some specific projects that we're going to be looking at for 2024, we're going to be doing some target masonry work on the exterior stone walls. Some of that's been from degradation, and then others from some damage. And we're going to be looking to repair some of the staircase at the Shakespeare by the Sea. We're also going to be replacing some bollards in the lower and upper parking lots to alleviate unauthorized vehicle traffic. We're going to be completing our final phase of the forestry thinning project. That also works within the comprehensive plan. And again, we're going to be replacing some culverts on Salem Memorial Way and Road Arm. That happened in June of 2024. So that pretty much covers everything. If anybody has any questions, we can go ahead.
This is Ted. So I've got a couple of questions. So I'm just wondering, the fountain, is that operational this year? The one, as you first come into the park?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay. I haven't seen it operating. I'm just wondering if there was a reason why.
I'm not sure. I'd have to check with facilities on that. We don't actually, like parks itself, don't really manage the fountain, but facilities would. So I can check with them to see the status on that.
Okay. My other question was, there was a communication from somebody who identified an invasive species, and I know you mentioned it in your update. What do you do to combat those kind of species?
We usually just cut it away. So if it was knotweed, we would cut that away or do our best to cut it away. Knotweed's a challenge because it grows about a foot a week or something like that. So as soon as you cut it back, you're looking at growth in the next week. But
okay, were you able to find the one that was identified?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You made reference to the comprehensive plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, the comprehensive plan now is over 20 years since it was drafted. And I've read through it, and it's still pretty relevant today. And there's, but I'm just wondering if, I know you've made reference to it, but I'm wondering if anybody's ever taken the plan and kind of identified, what was on there 20 years ago, and where do they plan to go in the future? Does it need to be updated, or do we need to do like a look at the plan and then report back on some of the recommendations and implementation recommendations from that plan?
Yeah, for the plan, we don't necessarily, it's not something we reference every day, but it does dictate our work in a sense, with the removal of the invasive species, with, the drainage upgrades, things like that. And then also with the forest thinning project, all that comes from the comprehensive plan. So, there could always be an update done to the plan since it is 20 years old, but I'm not sure how much would really change in terms of the management of the park going forward, right?
Yeah, I guess in my mind, it's about kind of longer term strategic planning. So, what is the city's vision and capital planning for the park and going into the future? So I know you're doing work on the walls, and there's other areas of the park where there's work happening, but what's the longer term plan for that? Is it just going to be a bit by bit effort on the walls? Are there other areas of the park like there's other infrastructure that's degrading? I'm just wondering if there's plans to fix that up in time.
Over time we will be fixing it up for sure. No immediate plans, but it is in our goals to fix it up, I suppose.
Okay, yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Adam. We're now we've turned it over to the committee. Are there any other questions from our committee? I'm just going to go through our list of names so that everyone feels included and appreciated. We've heard from Ted, Ryan.
I'm good.
Thank you. Muyu?
I'm good.
Dominique?
No questions.
Thank you. Karen? And Councillor Mason? Okay, we're good to go. Thank you. So now we're going to move on to our next agenda item, which is 9.1.2. Update on the waterfront and Point Pleasant Battery. So I'm going to ask Krista Hogan, if they're with us, project engineer, Hertz Capital Project, to give us an update about the item title. Krista?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Krista Hogan, project engineer with the Parks Capital Division of Parks and Recreation. I'm the project manager for the Point Pleasant Park Shoreline Improvements Project. So I was here, maybe it's close to 2 years ago now. So since then, we have made some progress. Last year, we issued a request for proposals for the data collection and modeling and design work. So that was awarded to WSP Canada back in January. So since then, some work that's been completed so far includes the coastal modeling, local wave climate modeling, and geomorphological analysis of the shoreline. They've completed a visual structural assessment of the Point Pleasant battery structures. They've completed an environmental survey, topographical survey, and bathymetric survey. I have yet to receive a report on the structures that is expected to be provided later this month. So upcoming work is we're continuing to work. They are working on design development options right now, and their report on the structural assessment of the batteries, their environmental survey memo that will summarize all the species that they encountered in the project area. Geotechnical investigation work will be scheduled once we have a project design direction so that they can really focus that investigation rather than in the areas that it would be most important. So later this month, I'm expecting to receive the condition assessment report for the battery and also their pre-design report. So that'll outline all the recommendations as we move into the next phase, which will be 30% design, which will include some very high-level drawings and high-level cost estimates of the recommended design direction for improvements we can make to the shoreline and the batteries. And in that phase of their scope, we also have included them coming and giving a presentation to the advisory committee. So you'll hear from the consultant themselves and you'll be able to ask them any questions you might have. So that's kind of where the project is right now. We still don't have any designs developed yet. It's a long process with all the data collection and modeling, and where we are right now is refining what those limits we're designing to are, what that storm intensity looks like, because as you can imagine, it can really change. It can, if it can make some significant changes in the park. So we're trying to figure out what we're comfortable with right now, and then we'll progress into the design itself. That's all for me right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Krista. We're now going to go to the committee to ask if anyone has any questions. Sorry, motorcycle driving by. We'll go through the list of names. Ted, or feel free to speak up. Ted?
No, I don't have any, thanks.
Ryan? Muyu?
No question, thanks.
Dominique?
No.
Karen? Okay, and Councillor Mason.
Can't wait to see it. No questions today.
Right? No, I don't have any questions either, but just hearing the different areas that you folks are diving into, and then being able that we'll be able to get a view of the snapshot, that excites me, and also gives more awareness as to what we're doing and for the park. So now we're going to move on. Thank you, Krista. We're going to move on to our next agenda item. And so that's 9.2 committee member updates. And so 9.2.1 from Ted Doan is regarding the fire protection in the park. So I will ask Ted to give a summary of the handout that was circulated to the members.
Sorry, Chair, that was the item that was deferred
Oh.
during the order of business.
Pardon me. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. So that is the item that was deferred.
Yes.
So we're going to just skip over that. And our next agenda item is actually moving forward to 10. So added items, and there are none. So 11 is date of our next meeting, which will be, if we can all believe it, September 5th, 2024. And now it is time to adjourn our meeting. So I'll call for a motion to adjourn today's meeting. This requires a mover and a seconder.
I'll move.
Thank you. Okay, so we have Muyu moving. Do we have a seconder, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Dominique. Okay, so this has been moved and seconded, and the meeting is now adjourned at 4:55